Okay, if you are in Math 7 Excel, we're working from the Advanced 2 textbook. If you are in Math 8, we are working from the Course 3 textbook. We are doing lesson 4.4, example 2, and it can be found on page 169. Okay, the book gives us this linear equation, y equals negative 3x plus 3. Y equals negative 3x plus 3. Okay. So first of all, is it in slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. I don't know. Let's slide this over and see. Y equals mx plus b. It looks like it is in slope-intercept form. Yay! So a few weeks ago, we said, whenever we think of slope, we're going to think m. This is why, right here. Because in slope-intercept form, the slope is represented by m. So here's our slope. And what are the things that we can say about slope? We know the slope is negative, which means my line's going to go down. We know that slope is rise over run, the change in y over the change in x. And in our case, our slope will be negative 3 over 1. Okay, that's what we can say about slope. Yesterday, we learned about y-intercept. B represents the y-intercept. And our y-intercept is when we set x to 0. When we set x to 0, what will our y be? In this case, y will be 3. So with this information, can we graph this linear equation? Absolutely, we can. So we're going to start with our y-intercept. Here's our y-axis, and it is 0, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Right here is our y-intercept. Now we're going to work with our slope. We know our slope is negative, so it's going to go down. And it's telling me we're going to go down 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. There we go. Boom! We just graphed this linear equation. And we didn't have to create a table to do it. Yay! But, you know, I want to double check my work. I want to make sure. I'm not too sure about this. Can I create a table? Absolutely. You guys know how to do this. Here we go. So I get to choose my y's, my x's. I get to choose my x's. And since there's not a fraction, I'm going to pick the easiest numbers I can to work with. So I need a negative, a 0, and a positive. I'm going to start with negative 1. So x is negative 1. Y equals negative 3. I'm going to substitute negative 1 for x. A negative and a negative is positive. Y equals 6. So when x is negative 1, y is 6. Here's my ordered pair. Now let's see if that falls on my line. Negative 1, 6. Negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that right here. It falls on my line. Negative 1, 6. Perfect. Here's my 0. So y equals -3. I'm going to substitute 0 for x. Anything times 0 is 0. So there's my y. So when x is 0, y is 3. But we already knew that. Because to find our y-intercept, we set our x to 0. Okay, not too shabby. Now I need a positive. So I'm going to pick an easy number to work with, +1. Y equals -3. I'm going to substitute +1 for x plus 3. Y equals -3 plus 3. Y equals 0. So when x is 1, y is 0. There we go. So let's graph it. Oh, look at that. I already have it, 1, 0. So I was able to graph this linear equation 2 different ways. I used my y-intercept and my slope from the equation, but I can also use a table. I get to choose my x's that will determine my y's, which create ordered pairs. There we go. Okay, so this is what we've been working on. The only thing we're adding is this problem asks me, what is my x-intercept? What is my x-intercept? So let's talk about this. Y-intercept. The y-intercept is where the line crosses or intercepts the y-axis. So the y-intercept is where the line crosses or intercepts the y-axis. To figure out the y-intercept, we set x to 0. And we will get the ordered pair 0y. So this is y-intercept. But now the problem is asking us, how do we find the x-intercept? Well, first of all, the x-intercept is where the line crosses or intercepts the x-axis. So in the y-intercept, if we set the x to 0, for the x-intercept, we are going to set y to 0. And it will give us an ordered pair, x0. So we already did this. Here, we set x to 0, and we substituted that for x, and it gave us the ordered pair 0, 3. Now, we need to set y to 0. So our equation is y equals -3x plus 3. So we need to set y to 0 and solve for x. Can we do that? Absolutely. This is what we did in Unit 1. This is now an equation, and we're solving for the variable. So I need to get rid of this +3. I'm going to use inverse operations and subtract 3. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. So I have -3 equals -3x. I need to isolate my x, so I need to get rid of this times -3. So I'm going to use inverse operations and divide by -3. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. So -3 divided by -3 is +1, and these guys cancel. So my x-intercept is 1, 0. Here's my x-intercept, 1, 0. And let's take a look. Holy smokes. There's my x-intercept, 1, 0. So that is it for today. It's stuff that we've been working on. The only thing we're adding is the x-intercept. Okay.